sunrise, new day's dawning, and it's calling you and me. Where the mighty Mississippi flows by Memphis, Tennessee. We've got woodlands, fields, and water. Hey, there is no better way. You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Make some time, take the family, ask a friend, but don't delay. Listen up and learn about it all. Outdoors with Larry Ray. Listen up and learn about it all. Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Good Saturday morning and welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray. Brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray here. As we talk outdoors every 90 minutes on every Saturday morning. And this really is the first Saturday of April, which really blows my mind on this April the 7th. And where is time gone? It is flying. But again, this being the first Saturday, you know, we kind of jumble things up now. We kind of messed up our rotation here. So we brought brother Daryl.
Half the Daryl and Daryl show.
Half the Daryl and Daryl show. Gene Smith is here. We had the other half last Saturday with Dave Gabbert. Gene is here. And then, of course, we've brought out of the bullpen our closer. He is Ron Wong. bonus Wong.
Good morning, everybody. Gosh, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
No, it's not either. It's cold and wet, and it's about.
Well, yeah.
There's Ron. Oh, there it is. There's Ron's song. There he comes. Ron is back in.
Just a little bit of rain's not going to hurt anybody.
48 today, I've heard the stuff.
And you know what?
A little frost.
You know, those fish don't care anything about the rain.
That's right.
You know, they're not afraid to get wet.
Well, we know there's a big event, and Gene is going to be at it today out at Graceland this morning.
Yeah, as soon as I leave here.
As soon as he leaves here, he's heading out to Graceland. And tell us a little bit about it, because there's quite a few kids out there, right?
Oh, yeah. Last year, about 600 scouts, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts. It's called Scout Rock.
Scout Rock.
Yeah, and they, of course, they visit Graceland, and the zoo will be there, Pink Palace will be there.
You'll be there.
But I'll be there with representing Tennessee Wildlife.
Tammy Brewer from the TWRA is coming down.
Tammy's
oh, wow.
Coming, yeah.
She's going to be down here, and 600 kids all over, I guess, Graceland.
3 states.
Not covering 3 states, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to cover the whole grounds.
Oh, yeah, they're going to do everything.
Yeah.
Do the whole 9 yards.
What will they do? What?
Well, they're going, of course, they go see the airplane, they go see the Graceland, and, of course, all the shops, of course, and we have all the exhibits. Shelby Forest Park will be there with the birds from Reelfoot.
Okay,
They
all
bring
right.
the eagles
Okay.
and the hawks and stuff like that.
And these scouts will come from Mississippi, Arkansas, and Tennessee.
In Arkansas and Alabama.
Yep. And they'll be there all morning, right?
All morning, yeah. Start about 8 o'clock to about 3:30.
So as soon as you leave here, you'll be heading to Graceland.
Correct.
Have you been to Graceland before?
Oh, yeah, I've been going there now about 15 years.
Yeah. You know, I've never been to Graceland.
Oh, really?
You really should.
I've been by it. I dropped my mother off there
You know
twice.
what?
I picked
You know
her up
what?
once.
You should have went through the tour with her, because
I know it.
I
know
will
it.
tell you.
It's something to see. I know it.
Yeah, it brings back a lot of memories of those days.
Well, you grew up in the Westwood area, so I mean, it was right down the street from where you grew up.
Well,
but Graceland was not really. I mean, we're not aging each other, but it was a wonderful piece of property, and it's right there on Highway 51.
Yeah,
and it's like stepping back in time.
And they have really developed that
They
area.
have.
Real
I have
nice.
to admit that. Yeah.
The Graceland Mansion that they have there.
Yeah.
is really, really nice, and
The hotel,
great
yeah.
food.
Oh, the hotel.
The
is
hotel is-
awesome.
It looked like an oasis. It's so big right there.
Yeah, it's super.
So all these kids will be out there this morning. We hope that they have a great time. What a big week it was in Memphis this past week. And, I know where I was 50 years ago on April the 4th. I was at the Commercial Appeal, and they told me to get away from the windows, because I was working that night when everything broke out. But a wonderful tribute. Great people from all over the world were here. Went smoothly.
Very good. Very
really
good. A lot of
And-
respect for Martin Luther King.
Yeah, and a lot of different people
Absolutely.
had a chance to see the city and see our people.
I remember that day very well. I was in
You
the
surplus-
Navy.
you were in the Navy then,
I
yeah.
was in the Navy then. I was stationed in Millington, going to school there, and I was actually living at home, except those 3 days, the day of and 2 days after.
Got a little rough.
They would not let us off the base.
Yeah.
But a
50
lot of
years.
lessons have been learned.
Yes. Yeah.
And, we have to continue to learn.
Yep. I'm glad to
And-
see
and
Lester
peace-
Holt in Memphis.
And peace with all people, and let's just get along
That's
with each
exactly
other.
right.
Exactly right.
And enjoy what God has given us to enjoy here on this earth.
Well say it from Ron Wong. And I know I've been seeing these pictures from Ron. That bass weighed 8 what?
8 pounds, 12 ounces.
8 pounds, 12 ounces. Now, where did you catch that?
I was down in Oxford, Mississippi.
I thought you
earlier
were.
this week.
Uh-huh.
I have to tell you, it was a memorable day. Probably caught around 30 bass. The 5 biggest bass
Yeah.
they had 8.12, a 7.4, a 7 pound, a 6.5, and a 5.5. That's a little better than 34 pounds for 5 fish.
You might have won a tournament with
I'm
that.
telling you,
That might have
yeah.
won a few dollars.
That might have won a real few dollars.
But that's that was a special day, and I have to tell you, all you fishermen out there now, throughout the Mid-South area, your water temperatures are going to range anywhere from 60 to 65 degrees.
Not in the 50s. You don't think we got any 50s this morning?
No.
We've
Even
had
though
frost a
we
couple
had the
times, and frost tonight's coming in.
No, the water temperatures have fallen a little bit, but they're right at 60 to 64, 65 degrees, depending on the kind of water you go to.
Okay.
Your river lakes like Pickwick and stuff in the low 60s. Your private lakes, your residential area lakes are going to be around 64 to 65 degrees.
Is that below normal for this time of year?
Yes,
April?
it is.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it
Gotta
is.
be. It's got to be.
And the fish are wanting to spawn, especially the bass. Some of them will.
Some of them
on
will.
the new moon. The crappie over on this upcoming new moon will be spawning. And the thing I want to, remind everybody
What?
that although we talk about the fish are going to spawn,
Yeah.
not all the fish spawn at the same time. We're going to have another spawn next month for
You
both
think so?
crappie and bass.
In May.
Happens every year.
Okay.
And it
All
can
right.
be as late as June, depending on the water temperatures. But again, you have what we call the early spawn, which is going to be now.
Yeah.
And then we'll have another one. It could very well be 3 spawns for crappie and bass. And typically you always have 2 good ones. And then once your water temperature gets over 68 degrees, then your brim are going to start spawning.
That's what I'm
and they
waiting.
will spawn on every full moon
They sure
throughout
will.
the summer.
And I'm waiting on that.
Good
and
stuff.
Waiting on that, and I know there's so much. Ron has been busy battling the wind. We've had some
It's
wind
been
this
pretty
past
windy.
week.
I have to tell you, and
You
the
look pretty
crappie are
windy.
biting.
You look pretty windblown there.
I
you had
forgot-
your hat pulled way down
No,
there.
that wasn't my hat. I had a visor.
You had a
on.
visor. I mean, you had your
And-
visor
and my
pulled.
dog-
way-
and I forgot to comb my hair before I got.
Oh,
a
I thought
picture.
it looked cool. I thought that was one of them visors with the hair coming out the top.
Yeah, one of
You
them
know?
artificial hats.
Yeah, one of them artificial hats right
And
there. but-
that's what's so good about this time of the year, especially for the crappie fishermen.
yeah. Well, you were
Shallow
catching.
water. You can single pole, catch them in a foot, 1.5 feet, 2 feet deep, sometimes 3, and that's it. And they're biting really, really well. The bass, depending on where you go, they're going to be fairly shallow, 3 to 5 feet. Something that moves kind of slow around heavy cover, because that's where they're at, just like the crappie are.
But the crappie are, and that's why we've got a couple of guests on this show that I'm really looking forward. Always look forward to talk to Whitey Outlaw. I mean, I just know he's going to tell you something that's going to break me up, and going to talk to Whitey here on today's show, and then Ron Tice. And
Ronnie Tice.
Yeah, and I know that I've heard great things about Ronnie. I'm going to try to get over there with Ron Wong and two Rons and a Larry.
A Ronnie and a Ron. And,
maybe.
And you will be able to take some fish home.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Miriam to clean.
Right,
yes,
yeah.
my Miriam to clean.
You know what?
Yeah.
I want to find me a lady
that'll clean your fish.
that will clean my fish.
I've got.
Yeah.
Like I've got.
I'm jealous.
I got one of those rare
I'm
kind.
jealous.
I'm one of those rare kind. But, I watched the video, and we're going to talk to Ron Tice. I'm really looking forward to it. My good friend John Kreiner over in West Memphis writes for the Evening Times. Papa Duck, as he's called, has
he does
talked a lot. He does a lot about
he's a taxidermist.
Yeah, and he's been with Ronnie.
Trains
and
dogs.
Yeah, he's been with Ronnie, and he knows that. But busy show. Talk a little turkey hunting today because, this is the second weekend. We're really rolling now in the season. I may go or may not after today's show. I'm really debating it. I've seen the turkeys where I may go. If I don't, I know I'm going Monday. But we're going to talk turkey a couple of segments, and then we're going to have the winner, if everything goes, of our Bassmaster Pick-A-Winner contest. And this guy, there was only, we had 52 entries, and I couldn't believe only person that picked Jordan Lee to win back-to-back was me, and I couldn't vote. But this guy almost picked the weight right on it. I mean, he was right. And, of course, he ought to know fishing, and that's Billy Ross Dole. We're going to talk to Billy, maybe in studio. He's going to try to be here in just a little while and talk about Wolf River fishing, which he knows it.
He knows it, and, I've been with him.
We got to get up there together. Me and you will go up there with him and shoot some videos of shooting up there, of fishing up there in the Ghost River part.
It's kind of fun to fish up there.
It's work.
Water's been awful high, and
yes,
really,
and because of the high water,
it's
pretty hard to fish because you can't get back to the fish.
Well, he's not. I'm not going back there unless I can get back there to it. Let's take a break. Come right back. And we'll head to St. Matthews, South Carolina.
Absolutely.
And talk to the man himself, Whitey Outlaw, on Outdoors of Larry Ray.